The question was things you shouldn't say while traveling.
Yeah.
Like specifically, like I remember stuff like traveling to the Philippines. The Filipino security was like 3 hours long. Things you shouldn't say probably would say, I'm cramping. It's hard for me to walk. I'm a little sore in the back end. You will get checked. Dude, I was like 8 years old going to the Philippines, and I got like consistent pat downs. I just thought it was a really, really long hug with like 20 different people. But that's the joys of being like 8 years old and homeschooled. Everything's a wonderful game to you. I think that's really the only place I've really gone outside of the US. That and connecting flights. I do remember, my grandfather he's Guamanian, so he was a prisoner in the internment camps in Guam when the Japanese took over in World War II. So he had to learn Japanese. So when we go to Japan, he's not as apprehensive as I thought he was, but I had no idea how much Americans were sort of just like scorned by the world until I went to Japan. Because I'm with a bunch of short Asian people, and at the time I looked like a short Asian person, not like the reject of Puerto Rican dudes. There was this guy that if you could embody like Chad, but like 30 years after Bud Light decided to stop loving him, like that's this guy. Like he looked like McDonald's was gonna be his spokesperson. I could smell a Big Mac when he walked by, and you'd have the attendants and the people that work in Tokyo. I think that's where we stopped over, and they started talking in Japanese and real quiet and everything. And my grandpa, the lovable man that he was, he could talk to anybody with anything and just smile and laugh and go along with it. I asked him, Grandpa, what are they saying? And he's like, oh, I can't say it. That's a lot of bad words. For those who don't know what just happened, let me share a tidbit. I'm dyslexic. So my buddy who's decided to do this project with me, he has a whiteboard and he decided that he would write things. Little does he know, he doesn't do a good job writing backwards. That or I'm just really dyslexic today. So I can't tell what I think it's ducks. Ducks? Is it duck? Oh. Now it's ducks. There's a curve, a loop, and a dot that needed to disappear. I'll let you figure out where that went. Oh, jeez. If I wanted to have a professional career, I'm pretty sure I just killed it there. Thanks, buddy. I have to search for like sponsorships. I'm gonna ask Monster. I'll change my name to Kyle. Oh yeah, I'll do smoke a lot and go to a bar and shout yeehaw. You know what? I actually met a crackhead who literally, I don't know if you guys go on the internet and do the memes, but I for real actually heard the phrase "you've yeed your last haw." And I can't tell if that just brought me joy or if I sort of like died on the inside. But anyway, we were talking about things not to say. You've eaten your last haw is definitely one of those. But I don't know, as far as travel goes, I absolutely hate it. I went halfway around the world and all that happened was it was really hot and I lived everywhere between a very nice hotel to a beach to a hut, and I actually enjoyed the traveling part. It's the coming home that I hate. You know what? I gotta apologize to everyone watching. I've had 3 hours of sleep, and I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to have like 5 monsters in a day, right? Is that considered unhealthy?
You probably would die.
I feel like my heartbeat's going really slow. He wrote things you shouldn't say generally. If you've seen any of my interactions before I met my fiance, I would say all of that. I just sort of talk, and whatever comes out, I just hope for the best. Generally, it's a bad joke. I am now trying to upgrade my bad jokes to like dad level. I think I have to wear the cargo shorts and have like a riding lawnmower for that, but I'm getting the finger guns now. I know it. I think if you're going with like seriously like things you shouldn't say generally is I know I said in the last video, you know, I don't mind offending people, and for the most part that's true. But it really depends on what you're going for. Like, what kind of person do you want to be? I mean, yeah, you can be that. You can be the Kyle, you know, that drinks Monster every day and does the poor choices and shouts his opinions from the rooftop. And you know, everyone's got a right to one, but not everybody wants to listen to it. So like and subscribe. No, I'm just kidding. You probably won't. If you've made it through the video this far, I wonder what drugs you're on. I don't want any. I'm just curious, like just for my own sake. So write in the comments below how much you're taking and where you get it. Yeah. Nothing else going on here. I was using my left eye? Anyway, I guess, I don't know. Things you shouldn't say generally. Religion, politics. Yeah, just avoid those, because I don't know if any of you go to a school or a college or deal with people in public in general. But there's always someone who's looking to be offended. Things you shouldn't say to a girl. Everything I've said ever in my lifetime. In any order. Period. Also facial expressions. Everything I do, just don't do. If you've seen me, just don't forget I happened. You know what? No, this one actually is a big thing. Learn how to compliment. I see too many guys that fall back on that. You know, they'll say something very crass and could come off as rude if the girl isn't receptive to it. Which really, like, if you don't have the ability to figure out, you know, if she's a rational person and she doesn't have a chip on her shoulder, she doesn't have any real problems, then if I say, no, I think you look nice today, that shouldn't be an issue. But, you know, like I said, there's always someone who wants to be offended by something. I work at the place that I work because, you know, I'm gonna save it for RJ to not have to beep everything out. Gotcha, buddy. But I said, I see a lot of guys with no tact and nothing to flex on, and they still try. And then after they mess up, they just, you know, they try to blow it off and make it seem like it's her fault because she's not attracted to a guy that can't take care of himself, or, you know, he's just obviously trying too hard. Be honest when you talk to somebody. I mean, to me, it's not hard. Unless you have like some like an incredible lack of filter. I mean, there's attractive women everywhere, but you don't have to stare and, you know, let the jaw hit the floor and the tongue roll out like in the cartoons, or even worse, just directly say, I like your boobs. You're really good. Oh. New subject. What we got? Things you shouldn't say in life ever on this video. In front of your mother-in-law. In front of, in job interview. You know what? I've been itching to talk about this one, buddy. So I went into this job interview as a supervisor. I thought I did a good job with the store manager, and she tells me, the district manager would like to interview you too. I'm like, cool, no big deal. Let me talk to her or him. I don't know who they are, but, you know, let's make it happen. And everything goes well. They like what I've done and my experience and blah, 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 blah. But then the big hiccup was, tell me about a time you had a difficult experience with a customer. You heard my last video. What's a dollar sign, ladies and gentlemen? I'll let you decide. Insert in the comments below. I actually told the DMs, there were two of them, both women. I told them that at my store in the beginning, for the first couple of years I was there was a lot of sexual harassment that would go on from customers to other customers, or from customers to employees. So pretty young ladies don't deserve to be grabbed, groped, or be rudely talked to, especially when the guys get rejected. So I let them know, you know, sometimes the guys that would come in wouldn't be respectful, and I'm not going to let any of my employees get sexually harassed, period. That's not going to happen. So I let them know, feel free to shop here as long as you can behave well. If you can't behave well, then we don't want you here. In short, if you can't act like a man, don't even bother. And because of that, we don't have those issues at my store anymore. I've made it very clear to everyone that I work with, even up to district, you know, this is how I do things. And I was just shocked when this DM goes, we don't do that here. I'm like, wait, you don't do what? You don't stand up for your employees? Like, that's okay for you? Yeah, no, I was very happy when she decided that the interview was going to be cut there. Not to say I don't mind asking some tough questions since she decided to grill me. She asked, and do you have any questions for her? So in order not to start a fight, I just asked, is there anything else I could have done better in this interview? And I could tell she was trying really hard not to say something snarky, and I felt a little good about that. I'm not gonna lie. Actually, I felt great about that. But I would like to say be honest in her interview, but I mean, obviously some places, especially in retail, you know, the customer comes first, and there are certain cases where I don't think that's true. There should be a level of integrity in any place that you go to, especially if you want to be a corporation known that's for family values and a safe place to be. If you won't stand up for your employees, and what's going to say you're going to care about your customers right afterwards? Half the people that shop there end up working there. So what kind of transition would that be? I just think it's a good way to lose business, but you know, what do I know? I just managed a place for 5 years. No big deal. Other things you shouldn't say in a job interview, poop. You don't want to talk about that unless you're in sanitation.